Hi, how are y'all doing? Hi, Misdemeanor. Hi, Spicy. How are y'all doing? Hi, Sandra del Rio. I don't know, is it buffering? So, I am going live. Hi, my three sons. How are you doing? I'm going live because on my side. Okay, thank you. I wanted to make something clear because I know Kathy. Where's Kathy? Hi, Miss June. How are you? Kathy, hi. Thank you for being here, Miss Kathy. My respects. I say some stuff without thinking, and then I kind of like, fuck, they already recorded it, they already went live, they already did what they had to do. But earlier, I made a comment about uh, an individual. Hi, So. How are you, Mija? Thank you for being here. And I want you all to understand that when I said that me, I said something about Alexandra, right? Thank you, my three sons. I appreciate it. Please, people, understand that I am not friends with any of those people. I don't plan to make friendship with any of them. But when I said about Alexandra, I meant to say, like, I can't trust her because when I would call her, it was like I needed to be paying attention to what I was saying or I was doing. And that's why I cannot be friends with her. And, anyways, I don't think she would want to be friends with me. I'd rather stay by myself, and that's it. Don't really mean it, so I totally understand. Thank you, Miss Sandra del Rio. And I don't want you all to feel, understand that if and I'm done apologizing to people because I haven't got any apologies from some of those people. So therefore, my thing is move forward. Let's move forward. I know that some stuff is being said, and I got a message earlier that apparently who whose content were you? But doesn't matter if you can't elaborate. I just understand. Haha, I already lost. Whose content were you? But doesn't matter if you can't elaborate. I just want to stay with the program. So when I was, and this is what I'm going to talk about. When I was sexually assaulted by the municipal judge of Mercedes, I didn't ask to be assaulted. I didn't ask to be raped. I walked in there and it happened. But when you initiate, and I mean, like, if you start showing women your breast to men, what do you expect men to do? You're rubbing yourself and you're showing your breast to men who haven't had a woman in months, maybe years, I don't know. How do you all expect these men to react? I'm sorry, but I'm speaking for myself. I did not ask to be raped when I was raped. I did not ask to be assaulted. And obviously, when we went to court, he pled guilty. He made a plea bargain. He was convicted on 2 counts of sexual assault. So therefore, um, if you're gonna be exposing, if you're, I mentioned on top, Sam, if you're gonna be exposing yourself to men, then you cannot cry wolf. I'm sorry. I did not expose myself to that man. I would never do that. On the other hand, um, but if you get touched without your consent, then that's a different thing. Exactly. So people are talking, saying things. Yes, he took my virginity, Sam. He really did. I was 30 years old, Kathy. I was 30 years old. I had gone to go ask for a bond reduction for my dad, and it happened. And I understand um, that, yeah, I understand that if you provoke a man, then, you know, just by caressing yourself or just exposing your breast to a man, then I don't see how it can be considered rape or sexual assault or indecent exposure. So I'm really like freaked out with that. But anyways, I am here just to interact. I'm spicy. I'm good now. He went to federal prison. He was convicted. He went to federal prison. He was in Beaumont, Texas. Believe me, when you are in a situation like that, you freeze, not sure why, but you are in shock. You can't move or anything. So, it was so weird because I remember going into his office. He did do 2 years in prison. He was convicted. He did 2 years in federal prison. He came out of prison. He was released. I was under the something of the protection, something protection. He, no, he wasn't white. He was a Hispanic. You could maybe say he was drunk. Yeah, he passed away. May he rest in peace now. Yes, Sam, I got very pregnant after that. I got very pregnant. As a matter of fact, I had a child after that, such as those, but I'm sure people freeze and you freak out and know how to fight. It's called flight mode. So when that happened, I got into the office. I had gone to ask for a bond reduction for my dad. And when I was there, he he asked me what I would do to help my dad. I said, I'll do anything. I'll do anything for my dad. I wanted my dad to go see his sister who was very ill. She had cancer. She was in her deathbed and she kept asking for my dad. So, of course, your best thing is hidden below the belt. So then he said, well, go ahead and come in on Wednesday. We'll go ahead. And I remember the day very well. He said, come in on Wednesday so that way I can sign the paper so your dad can have so I can sign the paper so your dad can get a lower bond. And I was like, okay, thank you. So I get there on Wednesday, and he says, come over here to this office. He had a bigger office. And we went into that office, and then he sat down. He got a rolling chair like this one, and he put it in back of the door. He put it in back of the door, and he started unzipping his pants. I I freaked out. I told him to move out of the way because I was gonna scream. I didn't feel comfortable there. So when I tried to move, I he pushed me. He kept pushing me, and I was like, "Leave me alone. Let me go, please. Let me go." And he didn't want to move. He was sitting in back of the door because the door, to open the door, you had to pull in, and he was sitting right behind the door, and he was playing with himself. I'm not gonna say I'm scared to see a penis because I'm not. I have 6 children, but I respected this man because he was the municipal judge. It was in his attorney's office. So then I told him I was gonna scream, and he said, "You can scream all you want. Nobody's gonna hear you because I asked my secretary to leave through the back door, and everything is locked." And I freaking didn't understand like what was going on. Like, what the hell? Why is this man doing this? Like, I really, no, Sam. He never choked me. He never put his hands on me. So then finally he did what he did, and I left the building. He moved out of the way. I left the building. I was in shock. I couldn't believe what had just happened. So then I left the place. My mom was outside waiting for me, and so then I told my mom to drive to leave from that area that I needed to leave. And my mom's like, "What's going on? You look pale. What happened?" And I started crying. I said, "Park, because I need to tell you something." And I told her what had happened, and she couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe what was going on. And you got annoying, sir. So I'm done with you. And I just like, I started crying, and I told my mom, like, I was just raped. And she was like, "What do you mean you were just raped?" I said, "This happened to me." And she's like, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, I don't know. I said, "I don't know what to do." I said, "But it's going to be hard because this man is the municipal judge." Hi, Maricela. I said, I guess I'll just go home and see and think about what I'm gonna do. So then the next day in the morning, I went to work, and I told a good friend of mine what was happening. I couldn't concentrate at work, not because I was devastated for seeing the peanuts, because there was nothing wrong with the damn peanuts, but the way it happened and who it was from was what I was devastated. Like, I couldn't believe what had happened. So finally, around 2 o'clock, I called Mercedes Police Department and I said I needed to speak to a female officer. And they gave me, um, they transferred my call to Miss Olga Maldonado. And I told her what had happened to me. And I said, I need to speak to you. I don't want to talk to a male officer. I'd rather talk to you. And she said, okay, when you're ready, go ahead and come on in. I said, I get out of work at 4:30, so I'll be there just about 5 o'clock if you can please wait for me. And she said, yes, I'll wait for you, Velda, don't worry. I got there to the police department. My friend took me because at that time I didn't have a vehicle. A car had crashed my car from the back. And she took me into her office and she asked me what had happened. And I explained to her that I had been raped by this judge. And she said, you know what, Velda, I'm going to go ahead and send you with this officer. And I want you to give him your statement. And I'm going to get on the phone with the Texas Rangers. And I'll never forget the Texas Ranger that helped me. Israel Pacheco was his name. Very nice man. And I made my report. I did my statement. And then the Sienna Sandra Mama Bear misdemeanor in China. I have a question that can be vulgar, but let me ask. So then I went ahead and proceeded. Thank you, Sandra and Marisela. It was I was freaked out. I couldn't believe it had happened to me. And I was a single mom at the time. I had done this to other women. You spoke up, and that's what counts. So when the officer took my statement, he said there had been another woman who had made a report, but she never went through with it. She didn't proceed. And they asked me, this report, we're going to do a sworn statement. We're going to get high skinny belt. Para que sepan. And with ending, because if you check to resist, there will be more chances of injury. When you're in such a, isn't it the best option is to enjoy the process if you can, because if you check to resist, sorry, he said, I don't know what you mean by that because I didn't enjoy any of it. Thank you, Soso. So then, and that's a fake app. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Soso. You did it. Thank you, Meha. So then I went ahead and completed the statement, and they went ahead and told me they would get back to me. The following day, they called me in that they needed to speak to me, that the Texas Rangers were in the office. Thank you, Mija, Soso. And when I went into the office, the Texas Ranger was there, Mr. Pacheco, and he asked me that if I had already done my statement, that if there was anything else I wanted to add to my statement, and I said no. I just, I was embarrassed, especially because of because he was the municipal judge, right? So they said, okay. Okay, cochino. Yeah, I have an idea more or less who it is, and he's a sick son of a bitch. That's why he's on here. But you got him out, mija, so thank you so much. So, anyways, thank you for being here, Jaime. I went ahead and proceeded, and they said, we're gonna wire you, Velda. We're gonna put a microphone right here on your blouse, and you're gonna go in there again because we're gonna have him arrested. And I said, okay, no problem. I'm all for it. Go for it. Well, we can do it. I said, I'm just afraid. What if he finds out that I'm wearing a recorder and he tries to hurt me because he used to carry a weapon? They said, you don't have to worry about anything. We'll be right outside the office and an undisclosed vehicle. I was real scared, Marisela, but I wanted to have him arrested. So I went ahead and went into his office. Thank you, Sienna. I went into the office. The officers, the Texas Rangers were parked outside, an unmarked vehicle, I'm sorry, unmarked vehicle. And I went inside and I asked him, I said, I'm here because you never gave me my paperwork for my dad's bond. And he said, oh, you never came to pick it up? And I said, no. I said, I need it. And he said, I go, you did all of this to me. You did this, you did that, you did this and that. I said, and you never gave me the paperwork. So I want the paperwork. I'm not leaving this office until you give me the paperwork. And he said, well, you can show me your breast. And I said, no. He said, let me see your breast. And I said, no. Give me the paperwork so I can go on my way. And he said, well, you can come for it on Friday. I said, okay. So comes Friday. And at this point, see, sometimes we're not supposed to say stuff, but you think you can confide on your friends and your friends will help you out, will keep your secret and never say anything. And one of his girlfriends found out that I was going after him. So they warned him. So that Friday, I was supposed to go pick up the paperwork. He said he had to reschedule. So the following Monday, I called him and I asked him if he was going to give me the paperwork. And he said that I needed to go to a motel and meet him. And I said, okay, we can go to the motel. So when we made the date for the motel, he was supposed to show up. By this time, he already was catching on, like, she's being very persistent about this. So, he kind of caught on. So then he was arrested. He didn't show up to the motel. He never gave me the paperwork. The following Saturday, and Jaime's brother was there, Mr. Jesse Contreras was there. The following Saturday, the Texas Rangers called me to go pick up my dad at the Sheriff's Department, Hidalgo County Sheriff's Department. My dad had been released and right after I picked him up, I asked him if he wanted to eat something or if he wanted to go see his sister who was in the hospital in her deathbed. And he said, no, I want to see my sister. And I said, okay. I said, but we need to stop with the attorney at my uncle's house because my uncle was an attorney, Mr. Juan Molina, and of course, Mr. Jesse Contreras were there. And we needed to get documentation stuff because it was going to be a big case. From there, we went to the hospital. My dad went, as we were driving over there, I remember my dad asking me, how did you get me out? How did you get the money to get me out? And I was like, don't worry about it. I said, you don't have to go back anymore. You're out. You're done. And he's like, okay. So we drive to the hospital. He gets off. He went to go see his sister. And a couple of hours, she passed away. We were there at the hospital, and then we were getting ready to leave. They had already said she had passed on, and we were getting ready to leave. And he said, how did you get me out? And I said, don't worry about it. I said, I got you out already. And he's like, okay, well, I want to thank you because I got to see my sister before she passed. And I said, you're good. Like, we're good. Don't worry about it. So finally, we went, he got arrested. He was indicted on, I think it was 2 or 3 counts of sexual assault. When he went to court, we had court at the federal building, the Benson Tower building in McAllen, Texas. And he kept saying that it was a lie, that it was a lie, that he wanted to go to trial. And I remember that day we went to trial. During that time, months passed, and muchas veces se aprovechan de nuestra vulnerability so they can take advantage. My scene, she was waiting for him. They were very close. My dad and his sister were very close. So then we went to court. The man kept saying that it wasn't true. His sister was waiting to see your dad. I really believe that. Yes, she was. So then we went to court. They took us to the courtroom where we were going to go to trial. And they said we got him on 3 counts of sexual assault. There's 7 other women that came forward, but those charges were not accepted in the case. From those 7 women, only 2 of us were able to get the case, and he was indicted, and he made a plea deal. Hello, Miss Teresa. He made a plea deal, and his plea deal was, if he would have been charged through the state, he would have got maybe 10 years probation. But because there were 7 other victims, he was charged, and they gave him 2 years in federal prison, and he lost his license to practice law again. So I was happy with the outcome. I was very happy with the outcome. He was convicted. He was in prison for 2 years. He came out. He passed away. In the beginning, when he first came out, I was scared because I know that he would carry a weapon. He would do drugs. Yeah, there were 7. One of them was a city employee of the city of Mercedes. Another one was a young girl. She was maybe 18 or 19 years old. She had got a speeding ticket. And it was crazy how these women never said anything. But because I had made contact with my uncle, all these women had gone and made contact with my uncle to ask for help. So when he found out about my case, he asked them if they wanted to partake in this case, because if these women would help, it would become a felony case and he would never be able to practice law again. So He lost. He lost dearly. He lost. So if you're, I'm not going to say that you deserve to be raped because it's not a good feeling. But when you expose yourself to men, don't be surprised for the outcome. I won't say you deserve it because we don't deserve to be raped. But respect yourself so you can be respected. What a sick individual. He thought just because he was a judge, he was invisible. It was all politics. And I was thankful to my uncle, Juan Molina, Jesse Contreras, and Philip McKinney from Corpus Christi, Texas. I was able to get a lawsuit of $150,000. From those $150,000, they divided to the 7 individuals, and I only got a little bit of money. I only got $50,000, but I was happy with the $50,000 because I felt that those women deserved what they got, money, monetary, the money that was given to them, because we were able to have him prosecuted and convicted, prosecuted, whatever you want to call it, and he would never be able to practice law again. So I didn't care about the amount of money, because no matter how much money I would get, what happened to me that day will never get erased. I will never forget it. So at the end of the day, I bought my home. I didn't pay it all off because $50,000 no son nada. I bought my home, and lo cargan tu corazón no matter what. Exactly so. So this is what my platform is going to be about, my life. I'm not here to attack anyone. I'm not here to belittle anyone. And yes, Miss Teresa, justice was done. He went to prison. And it's so crazy because when I saw those women there in court, he didn't care how old these women were. The youngest was 18 or 19 years old. The youngest was 18 or 19 years old. There was a mother and a daughter, both of them. As a matter of fact, the mother was one of the ones that was on my case, and he was convicted on her charge as well. And it's crazy because this man used to have women. This man used to have women because he used to party, he used to drink. He had different women. And God works in mysterious ways. So a few years down the line after that happened, I used to go to a restaurant there in Mercedes for breakfast. And when I would go there, they probably feared que no les creyeran that he tried to do that. It is, Kathy. It was a horrible experience. Horrible experience. So after that happened, it was like, okay, he's in prison. What's going to happen when he comes out? So at first when he came out, I would run into him at HEB, and I was like, oh my God, what if he does something to me? What if he tries to hurt me or my children? And like, it was so scary. It was ugly. It was an ugly feeling. But you know what? God works in mysterious ways. Thank you, para que sepan. After he passed away, I felt like, okay, the nightmare is gone. I don't have to deal with him or anything. So I start going to breakfast at this restaurant. And you all will not believe what happened. So there's a lady that used to work there. And one day she was crying, and I was like, "You look sad. What happened? What's wrong with you?" And she's like, "Ay, ma'am, you don't know. I've been going through a lot." And I was like, "What happened to you?" Like, I mean, if you don't mind me asking. It's because I have a daughter with this man, and this man wants to take my daughter away. I said, "Oh, and who is he or what?" She said, "Oh, he's connected to the police department. He's connected to the politicians here in Mercedes. So nobody listens to me." I said, "Well, who is this man? Who are you talking about?" And she goes, "Oh, it's so and so." And I was like, "Oh my God." I said, "What?" I said, "You have a daughter with him?" And she said, "Yes. And he took my daughter away." And I was like, "What? They took your daughter away?" And she's like, "Yep." I said, "How? How could they give him your daughter?" I said, "After he did what he did to 7 women." And she's like, "You know about that?" And I said, "How about if I tell you he was in jail because of me?" And she started crying like, wow. She just cried and cried. And she said, "But I've been looking for you. I went to your house. I've been looking for you." And I said, where, where did you go look for me? What house? And she gave me the address. I said, "No, I don't live there. I live in the next house." I go, the house next to that, where you went, that's where I live. She said, "I've been looking for you. I've been looking for you." She's like, "You know what? God put you here. God put you here in this place. And I am so thankful to God." This lady's a very Christian lady. I said, "You know what? Whenever you have a chance, call me so we can get together. And if I can help you, I'll help you." She said, "My attorney wants to talk to you." I said, "Okay." An authority figure, and they abuse their power. They do. So guess what? And I'm going to shut it down already because I've already been on for 40 minutes. I don't want to bore you guys or ladies. So I got in contact with the attorney. We got in contact with the attorney. We met and we went to court. This man had been fighting for the little girl. She would not let the lady see the little girl. It had to be visits, but with supervised visits. They wouldn't let her see her daughter by herself. Thank you, ladies. And when we went to court, he was fighting for the little girl. He didn't want to let go of the little girl. When we went to court and he saw me in court with the lady, he said, "I'm not going to fight for my daughter. She can keep her daughter." The lady cried of so much happiness. And she said, "God put you in my path. God put you here because with you being here, I get to keep my daughter." So the lady has her daughter. He did not fight for anything. He gave her daughter. He gave her all her benefits, everything. His Social Security, everything went to her and her daughter. How good is God? That's why sometimes I feel like, you know what? God puts me through these things for a reason. For a reason, God puts me through these things, and I'm not going to ask Him why. And that's why I say I want to move forward. I want to move forward. I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to backtrack. I'm not going to attack anyone. I'm not going to belittle anyone. I'm going to move forward. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you all have a good night. God bless you. And please, if you all hear rumors, question me, please. Call me, contact me, please. I don't ask for anyone to pick sides at all. But please don't believe everything you hear. Thank you guys, ladies. Y'all have a good night. God bless. And I will see you tomorrow around this time. Thank you for being here.